But I think if you're on the edge of starting or you're looking into it, like do the free webinar. That's where I started off and you learn and then you just you get back so much more in the it is an investment, but it is an investment in yourself. And you take those tools and you can just run with them. And the Facebook group is great. I loved the weekly calls. Those are so awesome. I could start them, when I was driving to pick my daughter up from school and then finish them in the car. But just really just so much support and it was awesome.
Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of the Master the Media podcast. I'm your host, Amy Gorin, and I'm here today with a special guest, Stephanie Militano. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, I'm so excited for our chat today. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And Stephanie is a graduate of Master the Media, and I asked her to be on here today to share her amazing story of all the success she's had with brand partnerships. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but let me just first introduce you to Stephanie. Stephanie is a registered sports dietitian specializing in supporting high school and college athletes who are navigating relative energy deficiency in sport and disordered eating. With a focus on performance driven, sustainable fueling strategies, Stephanie helps athletes rebuild trust in food, optimize their energy, and take their game to the next level with nutrition. She loves to team up with brands to create science backed, athlete friendly content that speaks to teens, parents, and coaches. Awesome to have you here, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you. Like I said, I'm very excited to chat a bit more.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm losing track of time because we were just Stephanie and I were talking before we started recording about, being moms of little babies. I mean, her little baby is two.
Still a baby.
Yeah. But when did you start and finish Master the Media?
Gosh, so I started in February of last year, and then with your maternity break, it pushed to I think the beginning of November. So I had a really good chunk of time, which was great because with the little one running around, I didn't have as much time to dedicate to everything as I would have liked. So it was really nice to have that extended time.
Yeah, which is always, there's always so much going on in every single one of our students' lives. And yeah, I know firsthand how much it can be to juggle being a
Yeah,
mom.
yes.
So why don't you tell us? I mean, just you want to jump into, I gave your intro, but you want to give more of more info on your background?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a board certified sports dietitian. I have had my practice for 7 years now. And there was a point early on, I think the first 2 to 3 years, where I had a full-time job working as a university dietitian while having my private practice. And so I was spread really, really thin and finally made the jump one day to private practice full time. And it was really great. But then one day you realize like you can only see so many, athletes or clients one-on-one. And you're kind of capped salary wise. And that's when I started partnering with brands on my own. But to be honest, it was so confusing. I didn't really understand, first of all, what I should be charging. That was a big, I was not confident in that at
Yeah.
all. And going through Master of the Media, I realized I was way, way underquoting. Like it was honestly kind of terrible. And just contracts and like deliverables and all of those things. And so I kind of, I had worked with brands before, so it was great having that pre-exposure before getting into master and media because I could look back and say like, oh wow, I would have done handled that differently or changed that up, or I wish I just had more confidence when working on proposals and sharing prices with brands.
Yeah. And I always, I tell everyone because everyone, comes into our doors, some with lots of experience, some with a little, some with none. But you can't beat yourself up about what you did in the past. You can only learn
Yeah.
from it. And like, me 15 years ago, like I undercharged too. And then I learned and now.
Yeah.
So do you want to kind of, I guess, just tell me more about, what it was like to kind of evolve working with brands?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that I took away was just the proposal process. And I was very lucky in that, like, when I was working with brands initially, they found me. And so that I think was really like before Master to Me, like I was working with brands who had just reached out to me and we were just kind of corresponding and doing some social media stuff behind the scenes. And then once working with you, it was like, oh wow, there's so many more options. And so I think going I was kind of doing that exactly what you say not to do of like here's my menu of options with direct prices, select what you want.
Oh yeah,
I
so
was doing
yeah,
that.
that's a rate
E-
guy, a rate
e-
T, which
yeah, I
you
was
learn, right?
yeah, you live and you learn and you evolve. And I've shifted to that the proposal mindset of just having like here are three packages based on what you shared, a little high, a little low. And that was kind of the first shift that I made when reaching out to previous brands. I'd already worked with that relationship was kind of already there. And they all loved it because you provide so much more value to them versus like here's five social media posts. Instead, it's like, here's your budget. Let's do what's going to support your audience the most and connect them to my audience. And I felt that they saw the value and just in it so much more. So that was one of those big shifts that I made.
Yeah, and I mean that's something where because a lot of times when people think, okay, you can work with brands, that means I can do an Instagram post. And like you said, it's so much more. You can, and like the process that we teach in Master the Media is ask the brand, okay, what are your goals? How can I support you? But then you're also bringing ideas to them that they never might have even thought of. Like, let's do a webinar to reach other healthcare practitioners, like things like that. So do you want to talk about some of the and share whatever you feel comfortable sharing, like some of the partnerships you've done and some of the different ways that you started to work with brands beyond social media?
Yeah, definitely. So I started with a few different some commodity boards I had worked with before, more state specific commodity boards, which have been really, really fun. And again, it was social media, a lot of it, but then you can also offer other things like in-person workshops or guides for their website. And it's just there's so much that you can do. So I've worked with some commodity boards, some individual supplement brands, which has been great. We're also worked with a few supplement development companies, which has been really cool to kind of develop products.
Wow, that is
Um,
really cool.
yeah, so it's just there's so much that you can do with brands outside of social media, and I think that's one of the most important things that I learned. It's not just because I didn't, I guess I should preface this by saying I didn't want my social media accounts just to be partnership posts. I really genuinely want to be authentic. I want to be myself. And when I share things, I want people to know like these brands I truly value and I use myself and I think they're great. And so that's where having all these social media posts all the time, I was like, this is going to be too much. How can we support brands and support my community, but more authentically? So yeah, so I've done a lot of different partnerships. I have some workshops even coming up and a lot of social media, but also a lot of like testimonial work and product development. So it really has been a lot of fun and it's financially supported my business really well too, which has been nice.
And when you say let's share some numbers, what have you earned working with brands?
Yeah, so this past year I have signed about 40,000
Wow.
in yeah brand partnership contracts so that haven't gotten it all, it's kind of broken up, but yeah, so I've signed some pretty big contracts, which has been wonderful, which has been really nice to take some of the pressure off of me having to work with so many clients one-on-one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that gives you more time to kind of like think and strategize for the brands that you're working with.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been really great to have that. And like I said, it because it's not all social media, some of it is like just content development, but more for their website. Like it's great because I can do it like when my daughter goes to bed. And like, it's just it's been really awesome and really just eye-opening the full potential out there. And I think I was talking with a friend about the program and she was like, "Well, don't you think like there's too many dietitians doing this?" And I was like, "But there's millions of brands out there that need support. Like I've worked with really, really little brands, like local, like barely getting started up to like really big ones, and they all need support. So I don't
Yeah,
think there's enough of us doing this."
I think that's a great point. I'm like, that's a question we get a lot. And it's like, yeah, we're all about abundance mindset. It's like there's
Yeah.
brands who might want to work with 10, health experts, or there's brands who might not even know that they need you. And then you come to them and you're like, hey, there's this pain point, that I see that you should do something with.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so can you share some like, like I know you've like told us, in broad strokes like what you've done with brands, but like can you give
Yeah.
us some like, real like here's some, actual projects that you've done, because I think that'll help listeners get a real idea for what you actually can do working with brands.
Yeah, so one of my most recent projects, I actually ran it twice while in Master the Media. I did a female athlete nutrition workshop, so a virtual workshop for female athletes. And my first workshop, I think I brought the idea to you in the group maybe like 4 or 5 weeks before, because another dietitian had done this where there was a sponsorship for the workshop. And I was like, oh, that's a really brilliant idea. And this other dietitian was a sports dietitian. I'm close to her, so I was kind of chatting with her and chatting with you in the group about it, and basically said, just ask for sponsorship for the workout for the workshop, and start low and then just use it as your beta, and that first workshop I had 3 sponsors. So a workshop
Wow.
where I would have made maybe $300 because only charging people like $15 for the workshop, I was able to make like 1,500. So that was
That's
really,
incredible.
really nice. Yeah. And then the second workshop I just did about a month and a half ago. And again, able to get some more sponsors for that and elevate my prices a little bit, show that kind of return, and who showed up. And it was just really cool. It's a process that can be repeated. So I think the workshop piece, I'd never thought to bring in
Yeah. And
sponsors.
what were you able to raise your sponsorship fee to?
Yeah, so I did 3 levels sticking with the sports theme. So we have bronze, silver, and gold.
Love
And
it.
yeah, so I did 1,500, like 2,000 and the 2,500 for each
Amazing.
one. Yeah, and it was really cool considering that the first workshop it started at 500. So being able to kind of
Yeah.
increase the deliverables, increase the reach. So it's just like that's just an example of like one little thing that you can do. And what I liked about the workshop is like with the deliverables, I was able to do different levels even within that. So it's like they have their own dedicated slide, or I talk about that specific product in the presentation, or including their marketing material in the packet that workshop attendees got. So there's just so many creative ways that you can give them exposure where it doesn't feel like you're in the face of people who are your work, like your own community. Because
Yeah.
that's what I didn't want.
Yeah. And I mean, that's still a really reasonable rate for a brand to sponsor an event. I mean, there's
Yeah.
sponsorships for, that could be 30, 50,000. So
Oh, I
like
know.
that's for
Yeah.
a brand, like that's a really easy yes, because you're offering, so much value to your audience. So when you say, let's get into like some more specifics. Like when you say like,
Yeah.
their event bag, like what else did you give them in their goodie bag?
Yeah, so because it was a virtual workshop, I did like little coupon codes to get like free products, and so, or a couple of brands didn't quite have like they didn't want to do like I kind of allowed them to create their own proposal if they wanted to tweak it a little bit. So some of the
Yeah.
brands wanted to do like an affiliate link with some different things in there, with a little bit of a budget for marketing. So it was kind of cool to be able to move that around and fit what they needed. And like you said, some brands like that's an easy win in terms of like, oh, marketing budget, they have that. But I have seen some no's too. And I also like you live and learn with that. Like, okay, well, next time I need to reach out sooner or at a different time of year. Like right now I have I think 3 or 4 proposals out that are pending like January because they need a new
Yeah.
financial year.
Yeah, and I mean, that's completely normal. Like this time of year in December, it's either brands are scrambling to use up their budgets and they're like, yes, we want to spend, or they're like, our budgets are tapped out and we're going to wait till January. But either
Yeah.
way, it's awesome. And yeah, the like events are great too, because I found you can be more flexible with, a lot of things that you do. Like you're like, this is my finite rate, but because events are, you're providing so much value to your audience, like it's, I feel like it's more acceptable to be, yeah, I can wiggle on the budget a little if you need to.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of the most recent. And then I actually have another like a running workshop where I'm partnering with a physical therapist coming up in March. And so we're going to do an in-person workshop, which
Oh,
allows me to
so
reach out to more
cool.
local brands. So I'm really excited to kind of get that ball rolling right after the new year. So yeah, I think it's just like I said, there's just so many different ways you can get creative, and it's been a blast. And I think connecting with my audience and being really authentic with brands that I enjoy. And it's not just throwing all different brands at them, but it's been really, really fun.
I'm so like that just make that's like the best part of working with brands, I think, is just, yeah, how enjoyable it is. But I think you touched on something that a lot of people have questions about is the ethical side of things. Like you
Hmm.
mentioned several times, like only working with brands that you would actually recommend. But let's talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like all dietitians get emails or DMs from brands wanting to repost or give samples for reposts. And for me, especially because I work with high school and college athletes, so younger individuals, it's so important to me that I'm only representing brands that are safe, that are effective, and that I truly enjoy. And I think it could be easy to get lost in like, oh, free samples, let me post about it. But it's important that I think you stick to like what you like and what your community will benefit from and not just chase the dollars. And then you get lost pretty quick.
Yeah. And can you like have you I don't want to guess what the answer is, but have you turned down any partnerships where,
I
the products
have.
just didn't make sense?
I have. I actually was working on a supplement, just not working, it wasn't my supplement, but giving them feedback on the formulation and make sure it didn't contain any banned substances, like that sort of thing. And the final product came out and I really didn't like it. The flavor was pretty terrible. And I had given them that feedback 6 months before and they went and changed it and came back and it just still I let some of my athletes like sample it and try it and like feedback across the board was like ick. I probably won't use this. And so I replied to the brand and said, it's been wonderful partnering with you to help you develop the product, but I think in order for someone, they wanted that next phase to be like marketing face of the brand. And I think it was kind of like a breakup email being like, I think you deserve someone who truly loves your product, and I don't want to do it just to be a part of it. I really want to genuinely love it. And right now, like that flavor just it was pretty bad. So it was one of those things that's like I just, because I had like talked to my, athletes about it and had families and
Yeah.
friends try it, and it was the consensus probably was like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. And hopefully
I
that was
did
a
turn
wake
them
up call to
down.
the brand that they needed to work on that flavor.
Yeah, it was just something where like they were ready for that next marketing phase and they wanted to go, and I was like, I just can't in good conscience do this.
I mean, I love that you stuck to your guns, and I think that's the only way to go. But it also paints the picture that there's so many things you can do with brands, right? Like you were
Hmm.
working behind the scenes to help develop the product, and
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk through that process because I like that's something where honestly, like it's really really cool, right?
Yeah, it was cool and scary at the same time because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the professional here. Like I'm the expert. Like I'm so, so it was really, really fun and cool to be recognized as that expert too. But yeah, it was great kind of going back and forth in formula and doing research. And part of my job for them was to look at the formulation that they had, but also I was going and diving in and finding research papers and articles and just things to support what they were trying to do.
Which is
So
yeah, it's just so important. And did they put some of that information on their website for consumers?
yeah, so when I kind of parted ways with them, their website wasn't even live yet. They were still kind of just building the back end. So we were very early on. I really was just in product development. Like this would have been their first. They were very, very small. Like social media following, I think was 5. They just built
Yeah.
their Instagram. So yeah, it was really fun to dive into the research and also they didn't know what they needed either, which I find a lot with brands. Like they don't know. Like I've actually done a lot of meetings with brands where they'll say, "Oh wow, I didn't even think of doing that as an idea," or that's they just haven't even crossed their minds. So it was nice to propose ideas like, okay, if I'm doing research and if I can create a Google Drive that has research backing up pros and cons of each thing, like you can use that for different marketing ideas or just like product development. So it was really cool to think of things again outside of social media to support brands.
Yeah. Um, and let's talk about because I know you've done, that was behind the scenes. I know you've done in front of the scenes partnerships.
Yeah.
Is there, an example that you can share?
Yeah, so one of my bigger partnerships most recently, I've been working with the National Cattlemen Beef Association for several years now. They're one who first reached out to me, gosh, I think it was like 2022, 2023, kind of started working with them, and they've been really awesome because again, they're very research based and very open to ideas. So that's been fun. And so I've been working for them with years, and they just connected me this year with the Virginia, which is where I am, Beef Association. So I've been partnering with them. And so this in 2026, we've got some really fun things coming up in terms of social media and workshops, and just things on my end too, like putting and highlighting some like beef-based recipes on some of my downloadables. And so there's a lot of different things that you can do. And again, like beef is a product I talk about all the time for my athletes because of iron, because of the protein, and because of the B12 content. So it just made sense for me to continue that partnership. And again, their values really align with mine because they're not saying like beef every day, all day. They're saying they just wanted it included on the plate a couple times a week as a good protein source. And so it's been really, really fun partnering with them and again seeing their ideas and how they want to connect with my community and their community. And we actually have a really fun farm tour coming up in April. So like that'll just be something fun to do too. So like I'm excited to bring my daughter because like there should be cows and just
Oh
like
my
so fun, you
gosh.
know? And so yeah, there's just there's just a lot of fun things when you partner with brands that you align with. I think it's so easy to create content and have ideas because you're just excited for, you know, for them and what you have going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like maybe, you'd probably be talking about this anyway, but now you're getting paid for it.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah, I would be highlighting them regardless. And so now it's nice to just, you know, have more specific behind it where you get a little bit of support
I
financially.
love it. And earlier you'd mentioned, working with brands gives you, the ability to work with less clients. Can you kind of, I feel like it would be really helpful just to, paint the picture of what your typical week looks like now that you have a private practice and you're doing, quite a bit of brand partnerships.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, this is something I've worked really hard on. So I'm working 4 days a week, but you know, as an entrepreneur, you're never really not working. You know, but I set work hours 4 days a week. So Mondays are like my admin days when I'll catch up on. So until recently, I have been just a practice of one, and I just hired a second dietitian a couple months
Oh,
ago. So
amazing.
yeah, so it's been cool to, again, help, you know, transfer some of my clients to her to have more time. But anyway, so Mondays are kind of my admin days, so I get a lot of just emailing done, getting caught up with colleagues and therapists for private practice, and then the afternoons I'll see some clients or I'll do content for brands and that sort of stuff. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I'm seeing clients one-on-one pretty much from like 10:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock every day. And then on Fridays, I'm home with my daughter and I work on her 2 hour nap time. So it's given me a lot of flexibility of dropping my daughter off late, picking her up early from school, having Fridays off, and it's been really nice to be able to do that.
Oh, I love that. And like as a mom, I'm just like, that day that you get to stay home with her, it's like you can't ever get that back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's fun and like, you know, she's an in-home daycare, so it's only 4 kids and they are her best friends. She yaps about them all the
Oh
time. And
my
so
gosh.
it's nice for her to have her social life a couple days a week and then, you know, she's home with me and we call it Fun Fridays. Like we'll just go do different things every Friday. So it's fun.
That's so sweet. And those are memories like you'll just have forever.
Yeah,
How many
totally.
clients do you see in a week?
Um, Anywhere from 12 to 18. So I try to cap it at 4 or 5 per day, but it easily kind of gets up there because I'm working with a lot of underfueling and disordered eating and eating disorders. I see most of my clients weekly, some bi-weekly. So I see them quite often, and that's where bringing another dietitian on was really helpful. So I can start passing some client referrals on to her, just because like I can work less because I have some of the sponsorships, but I love what I do so much. And I truly love supporting athletes and helping them improve their performance and health and kind of work the recovery disordered eating that it's hard for me to not take on clients
I
because
totally,
I
yeah,
just
I totally
love
get
it so much. I
it.
really love working with them. So it's hard, but it's been nice to give me that freedom of like a more relaxed Monday and Fridays off.
Yeah. And have you, I mean, I imagine, but I don't want to, totally guess. Have you seen more clients coming to you because of this brand and media work that you're doing?
Yeah, I've definitely seen a few who have come from that, like they've seen a post and it really resonated with, and they'll message me. But yeah, it's definitely been helpful, and it does keep your social media accounts a little more active when you have some of the like you have to post and you have to add different things. And with me, like as I mentioned before, like I don't want my whole platform to be brand partnerships. So if I like have a partnership, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to post some of my own
Yeah.
too because I need to space it out.
Like let them
So.
breathe.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it does keep me, I think social media it's such an awesome tool for reaching people, no matter how big your account is. It's really awesome in helping you just reach even one person if you can help them. I think it's great. And so having the brand partnerships is awesome.
Yeah. And what about your media work? Because, that's something we haven't even touched on, but Stephanie does quite a bit of media work. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, doing a lot of articles, a lot of responses, a lot of videos. So it's been really, really fun. I haven't done any like news segments or anything yet, but lots of podcasts, which is I
Yes.
love to yap. So it's really a good fit there. But yeah, it's just again, it's been fun. I think connecting with other people too, and coming from that mindset of like there's so much opportunity out there. And so if you can just even like another sports dietitian that does the same thing as me, like there's so much room for us all to thrive as RDs.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times, like the referrals bounce back and forth. Like if you're at capacity or
Hmm.
he's at capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, or I have that too, where there is some, like I have some friends kind of across the country where they only work with male athletes and I'm mostly female athletes. And so if they have a referral, we'll kind of switch back and forth. And it's really nice, I think, when you're able to support other dietitians or, it's just, I don't know, I think we all really, if we all work together, like our practices would be full.
I love that. And I mean, yeah, it's like, I feel like our hearts would also be full, but to
Totally.
get a little
Yeah.
cheesy.
Yeah. I love
but,
it.
but yeah, I mean, that's what I love so much about like, that's the thing, same thing with brand partnerships. Is like, if something's not a fit for you, I mean, okay, that supplement that didn't taste good, like maybe that's, not a fit for,
Yeah.
but like there's other examples, like if you don't like a certain ingredient, it just doesn't like sit well with your, digestion. You could
Yeah.
pass it along to someone who does enjoy the ingredient.
Exactly. Or some brands want like multiple dietitians that are similar to you. So if you have friends, like I've had some friends who are actually in Master of the Media now, and so I'll like pass some ideas off to them or just some connections off to them. So it's really cool to see us all grow and just crush it, honestly. It's fun.
I know, it's so much fun. What would be your advice to someone who's just looking to get into working with brands?
One, join Master the Media. I think that confidence is the only word I can share. I remember talking to my husband about like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And I think I did email you because brand partnership school was just about to start and my credit card had just expired, but the new one hadn't come yet. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I really wanted to start. And you're like, okay, I'll let you in early if and it was just really great to get in. And as soon as I started, just the more I learned, I was like, wow, like, okay, one, I've been doing this wrong. But two, you just boosted my confidence in communicating with brands and reaching out to brands and emailing them and how to look at their websites and what to look for. I think just overall confidence has been really great. And then getting on a phone call with brands was scary. But I think if you're on the edge of starting or you're looking into it, like do the free webinar. That's where I started off and you learn and then you just you get back so much more in it is an investment, but it is an investment in yourself, and you take those tools and you can just run with them. And the Facebook group is great. I loved the weekly calls. Those were so awesome. I could start them when I was driving to pick my daughter up from school and then finish them in the car, but just really just so much support, and it was awesome.
I love that answer. And what's next for you, Stephanie?
Gosh, just 2026, lots of brand partnerships lined up. Like I mentioned, a couple proposals kind of out there. So just trying to figure out that sort of thing. And honestly, hoping to bring someone on, specifically my husband, to help me manage some of the admin stuff of brand partnerships because it's sometimes hard to keep track of like what deliverable is due when.
Yeah, and I'm all
So
about the spreadsheets, right?
yes, absolutely. I'm a spreadsheet type A girl. Yeah. So yeah, like I think 2026 we're gonna hire him on part of my business to help with just some of the organization of it because it's hard to keep my brain in so many different places. But definitely looking to build and expand and reach more brands and just support my community with things that I love.
Well, I love that so much. And where can we find you, Stephanie?
Yeah, so Instagram is where I'm most active. So high school athlete nutrition. I'm also on TikTok as HS athlete nutrition or high school, yeah, HS athlete nutrition. And then my website is smnutritionrd.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. This has been just an awesome conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And to you guys who are listening, if you want to learn more about working with brands, we have a free pricing guide so you can just see what those deliverables actually pay. And you can grab that at masterthemedia.co/pricing-guide.